Right, round two. Kill him. You nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously I've done like a load of these, but it's just because there's like cameras and I'm just a freak, do you know what I mean? I get like a bit socially awkward.
I think more with this, it's because you've got to talk about yourself a little bit more, haven't you?
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
You've done it, it's always interviewing somebody else, and it's always been about your one topic with your music, isn't it?
Yeah. I think doing that doc I did recently, I learned, like, obviously there's like cameras on me and I'm expected to like speak about my life or whatever. That like sort of normalised it for me a little bit because there's cameras on you just for so long. So I'm getting better at it, but it is a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was for me when I first started. Even now, like you watch yourself back in the camera, and you think, "Fuck it, no."
Do you freak out during editing when you like?
I hate it.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it?
It's good though. I'm getting more and more used to it. Like when I first started, I'd always sit a certain way. Do you know what I mean? And then like now, it's just whatever.
Mr. Relaxed.
Yeah, cool, man.
Like a professional media star.
So we'll start off with the music.
Yeah, man.
So you're going to Spain next week?
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah, for I think 7 days a week. Yeah.
Have you started doing that? What you said about the what's his name? Liam, Mr. Gallagher. Have you started doing any of that writing?
We've been, me and the guy we've had a few writing sessions and that, but it's just the guy I'm writing with, he's busy, I'm busy, so it's just like we try and fit it in whenever. Obviously he lives in London, I live in Wales, so it's like it's kind of just finding the time to do it, but we still chat about other projects and stuff like that, so it's just we'll finish them when time allows. Do you know what I mean? How did Spain come about? How did all that start? So obviously when I was in my early 20s, I was gigging in that. I had a MySpace page, which is showing my age, right?
Bebo.
Yeah, hit me up on Bebo. I had a MySpace page with some of my tunes on that I'd recorded in my mum's shed in Bagel, and I started picking up some fans all around the country and stuff, like when I was still playing like open mics in Bagel and stuff when I was dead young. And this guy had heard my tunes, like he was a promoter from Scotland, just outside of Edinburgh, and he just said, I really like your tunes, are you gigging and stuff? I said, yeah, I'm gigging in my local pub. He said, oh, you should come to Scotland, I'll get you train up and put you up in a hotel and all this stuff, and I'd never had that before, so he just booked all of my Scottish dates from then on, basically, nearly everyone I did. And then as he grew as a promoter, he started booking bigger bands, and I'd get support slots with them, and, you know, that was...
Is that around the time where you got picked up by Pete Doherty?
Yes, yeah, when I was like, I must have been like 18 or something like that.
You went to Austria, wasn't it?
Yeah, I went over Europe, did Europe and that, yeah. But yeah, so it was around that time, and he just was doing more and more stuff in the industry, and then fast forward 15 years, one of the artists that he ended up working with, Kyle from The View, them two had been doing stuff together for years, and Kyle had been at a few songwriting camps himself and stuff, and they basically birthed this idea to set up a songwriting retreat in Spain, you know, where you can go and kick back and just be fed and watered and just focus on being creative in a beautiful setting, you know. And I was just watching it all unfold on Instagram. I was just seeing what they were doing, putting pictures up of them working in the villa and doing all this cool stuff. And I was just I messaged him just saying, like, what you two are doing out there is just so cool. Like, it's amazing that you're doing it, well done, sort of thing. And he obviously knew that I had a studio and I'd been writing and producing this stuff, and he still wanted to come and get involved. And then that was like 2 years, 18 months, 2 years ago, and sort of never looked back.
How many times have you been over there?
I've lost count. Yeah, just like, it obviously, because the camps aren't like, you don't know when they're going to happen. It's just when because they have guest writers from the music industry and stuff. So you're working around other people's schedules and stuff, busy people's schedules. So sometimes I'm busier than others. Obviously winter we don't go over there because it's not as warm, it's not as enjoyable and stuff. So yeah, it varies really, but yeah, it's just like, it's changed my life, honestly, because it puts me like, I'm just a lad from fucking nowhere, North Wales, do you know what I mean? It puts me in the room with like bands that I'd sort of been influenced by when I was doing music and stuff, so it's fucking great, man.
That's good. That's what I was going to say next. Who's the best? Who's your favourite? Who's your favourite band that you've worked with, or favourite person, or what?
There's a band called the Mystery Jets. I was never a Mystery Jets fan growing up. I sort of never really got into them. But when I worked with him over in Spain, like Blaine, that was just like it was just so fun. We just clicked, you know. And it was like, and we've since been working on stuff together since and stuff like that. But everyone that I meet, really, I sort of get different things from. You know, you're always learning, especially like with stuff like songwriting stuff. You're always learning. So everybody you meet has got a different way of doing it, a different way with words, a different way with the music they put together. And it's just, for me, it's like absorbing. You absorb different things from different people in all fields, I think.
Do you think that music is your crutch with your mental health issues?
Well, it's always like,
I see a lot of people, they'll use the gym as a mental health issues, or they'll use, I don't know, going to the pub or drug abuse.
But I think that's like, when you're sad, doing things that make you happy is good for you. I think that music and gym is just one thing of that, you know. So, but for me, I think with music and like any creativity really, it's like, if you've been through a shit time, like often the reflecting on that time and processing it, you channel that through your art, do you know what I mean? And I think, you know, it's a cliche, but I think that can be healing sometimes. Like, you know, if you've been through a bad breakup or unrequited love, or these universal things that bother us all, like, expressing that through your art can like sometimes make that stuff easy to deal with, because you've thought about it a lot, you've processed it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, would you say this going to Spain all the time, what you're doing now? When you're going next week?
Yeah, Saturday, yeah.
Is that something that you want to do in the future? Is that something that you want to carry on doing, or is that like a stepping stone to something else that you want to do?
No, I think, like, I've mentioned to you off camera, but like, I'm doing a master's course at the moment, which is fucking mental, because I haven't been in school didn't do uni or nothing like that. So,
you're a clever lad though, aren't you?
Well, unsharpened, I'd say, do you know what I mean? I'm just curious, I think I am. But like, they're sort of asking me to do like a sustained professional development plan, how all the little things I'm doing, whether my short-term goals, long-term visions, how I get there, all this stuff. And I think they're a bit perplexed with how varied what I'm doing is. Like, obviously I'm making fucking documentaries with the BBC, Welsh government, all these mad people, like the music stuff over in Spain, and working with like fucking super influential bands and stuff, artists and stuff like that, which is then leading me to some of the records that I'm making with other people to get noticed in the industry. So like, it's all the same thing to me. Like, everything that I do is just like creativity focused, do you know what I mean? So it's all just, I got one job, and that's like creativity related, do you know what I mean?
And I was going to say then, do you think that it's too much all in one hit, or do you enjoy the madness of it?
That's a double-edged sword, I think, because on one hand, I know I've got bipolar and I take fucking antipsychotics and stuff like that, and they have their own effects, but I know just in my own self that when I'm not busy, like,
that's when it has the darkness creeps in.
When I'm laughing, but like, that is so true. Like, when I'm left to my own devices, like, just it tends to go wrong. Whether that be like, obviously with bipolar, it's ups and downs. So whether that be like mad depression episodes where I don't leave the house, or manic episodes where I don't sleep, and writing to the king about building a city in Bethesda, or whatever, just whatever mad thing that's going on in my mind. Like, I find that keeping a bit of a rigid structure, I live out my calendar and my Google Tasks and stuff, that helps me. Like, long-term permanent things go in the calendar. Google Tasks are things that I can do while other things are being done or whatever. So I outsource a lot of like my memory and processing to like software, do you know what I mean? But none of it feels like everything I'm doing. I mean, it's still the telly stuff, still fucking really, really early days, but like, I'm meeting cool people, and there's talk of next projects and stuff like that. So it's all really cool, but that's just being creative and having fun. Like, Spain is, you work with a lot of new people and you're doing long hours and stuff like that. So obviously that's taxing, but it's just writing songs, which I love doing, you know. So like, everything that I'm doing, the uni stuff, obviously doing a master's is fucking difficult, but I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I really enjoy learning. So that doesn't really feel like a stressful external thing.
If you weren't doing none of that, what do you think you would be doing?
Probably dead, man. Like, honestly, I've been that close to it that many times, you know, when I wasn't doing all this stuff, like where I've had moments where a record deal didn't go through, or a business deal that I spent 2 years getting off the ground failed, and there's been moments where, like, I saw the abyss. You're the abyss, do you know what I mean? Like,
I call it the darkness.
Honestly, mate, and like, I honestly feel like part of why I'm so driven now, especially since coming off the gear and all that, like, why I'm so driven now is because, like, the abyss isn't far behind usually, do you know what I mean? So you've got to keep outrunning it. And I have had moments like, I was working on a record with an artist that I met over in Spain, and we were going back over to the studio in Spain to record it, and we were working in Wales in my studio, and then I was going to Glasgow for writing sessions and all that, and it was started off being really fun, but then like there was talk of publishers and record deals and money and royalty splits and all this stuff, and so suddenly then it turned into like, oh my god, this is feeling like a fucking job at the moment. All our dreams happening, and it become like a stressful situation.
So you weren't enjoying it.
And then I had major burnout, like, and I had a bit of a psychotic fucking break, I'd probably call it now. You know, I just lost touch with reality for like a month or two, and had a med review with my doctors and got an extenuating circumstances thing for university for missing deadlines and stuff like that, which was fucking mad stressful. But since then I've learned how to delegate my time better, how to also, it's not just me working on this stuff now, there's teams of people. I've got a game design team who are building some stuff for a mixed media project we've got coming out. I've got some like a couple of patent holders helping me out developing some products in the music industry, so I'm delegating stuff out which I've never did before. I was a control freak, you know what I mean? And I think by delegating and utilising like productivity apps, I'm sort of keeping the abyss at bay, do you know what I mean?
And I think because it's always been a hobby, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you were younger, it was always a hobby, whereas stuff for me, you know, in the past, it was always like football or going to the gym or just something like that. I had a hobby. This was never my hobby. Yeah. So, like, this is the first podcast I've done now in, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that.
Why is that?
I think it wasn't burnout as such, but I think I didn't realise how intense your emotions would be.
Right, okay.
So you've got to sit here and do the podcast, and then you've got to sit at home and edit the podcast.
And then reflect on it again.
And then once it's edited, you've got to sit there and watch the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's 3 or 4 times multiplied on your energy levels.
If you're chopping it into clips, you've got to check it. You see it all again.
So you could sit here and have a difficult conversation to have, whether that be about, you know, stuff in the past or drugs or mental health issues or being a father.
Whatever
it may be. And then you come out of there thinking that was a really like powerful conversation, but it's took a lot out of you. And then you get home and you've got to edit it and then sit there, and when people say, how did the podcast go? What did you talk about? So then you've got to explain it. And I think I got to the point where it was like, fucking hell. I need to chill out for a
Plus
little.
the fact that, like, not only is it emotionally taxing, like, talking about heavy shit and personal issues, but it's like a job in the sense that you've got to be a video editor, you've got to be a social media fucking marketer, you've got to be a personality, you've got to be a bit of an audio technician to get the gear running. Like, you're wearing, like, a lot of fucking hats, you know what I mean, as well.
It's something, well, you know.
Plus working a normal job and raising a family and fucking having a relationship and all that.
Yeah. And you know, like, you helped me set it all up the first time we come here. I'm no good with technology, so when I first started editing, I think the first video took like 10 hours for me to edit on my own.
I've been there, man. I've been there.
So I was like, wow, this is fucking stressing me out. And I think because obviously I've started like that little men's mental health group in Flint now. It's nothing massive at the moment, but I think it'll gain traction as we go along. And I just thought, just have a couple of, you know, a bit of time to yourself. So I went on holiday with my missus, and then I come back and I've always been saying, yeah, I'll do one. I'll get one done with so-and-so. And there's like 50 people, mate, that I've got planned in to do one. Yeah. And then, like, you'd have a bad day in work, or, you know, you'd have just a bad day in general, because I'm similar to you. So I haven't got bipolar, but I can be very much an introvert, whereas if one bad emotion hits me, I'll stay in my house for 2 days and won't go out. Yeah. And then I just think, oh, fuck it, I can't be bothered. But I know this is something that needs to be done. So, you know, my energy's sort of gone up and
down.
But
I think we talked off camera, like, you're going to get some help with the editing, get someone to take over that side, because obviously you've got to be focused on other things. I think that will be crucial
massively.
For you.
So it's my mate Johnny Noble, his lad. He's going to be doing it. I think he's going to uni or college to do this type of work. So he's really keen in doing it. And again, that's going to...
One of the things that I've been learning about in uni, obviously the creative industries that I'm involved in, is like, it's very entrepreneurial, self-directed and stuff like that. So one of the modules on my course is about like... it's almost like professional. I think the module's called professional studies, so it's like talking about like leadership skills and stuff like that. Yeah. And it says one of the things that is like crucial is like mentor-mentee relationships, where you'll sort of give someone a chance and teach them what you know, and then then someone else will teach you, and this whole like transfer of knowledge and information. So like I think getting someone to sort of share the work with, I think that's fucking going to be a massive help for you, man.
And also, I've spoke to a friend of mine, Jack. He's we want to maybe take the podcast just another avenue to explore is bringing like mentors on here and businessmen and
yeah, man.
You know, for young,
it's inspiring as well, isn't it?
Yeah, for you know,
especially like obviously I can't speak for you, but I'm guessing it's not too dissimilar to me. Like growing up and all that, where we grew up, like you don't have many sort of figures in life like that who can say, oh, if you do this, or you look at life this way, you can succeed or whatever. We don't have that.
I think from where we're from, because we're from the lower class council estates, you haven't got many successful people that have left the town and become X, Y, and Z and done this and done that. Do you know what I mean? Something as simple as doing this is sort of looked at. All right, it is a good thing, but where we're from, it's like fucking hell, it's amazing. Yeah. But it's so simple to do, but we're not used to having these sort of
have you
opportunities.
Found, like I know in my like peer circle, especially like when I've started doing all this sort of music and creative sort of career paths, I got like a lot of ridicule. It was like banter and stuff like that. It wasn't like, I'm not saying I was fucking bullied or never had any effect on me. I didn't stop doing what I was doing, but like I got like a bit of, hey, what are you doing? You see what he's up to?
Yeah. So when I first started, like again, some of it was banter, but you can see some of it is like, I think some of it's a little bit of jealousy.
Right. Okay.
Maybe something like, because I had a conversation with my mate before I started the first podcast, and he was like, people are going to take the piss because who am I to come out here and preach on the issues of, being in a bad relationship.
Yeah, but you're only preaching from your own experiences. You're not telling people right and wrong, are you?
And that's the thing that I think I've done is I haven't told people like you get these mentors on social media, you've got to be this certain way and ice baths at 5 a.m. and do you know what I mean? I'm not that. I'm just a normal lad, but what I have done is realise my issues in life and understood that the next generation of young lads coming through, my son and all his mates, do they really want to go down that same road? Because the environment we live in, we're trapped, almost.
Yeah. Well, we touched on that thing you said about your son, like when we did that doc, well, whenever it was, like the intergenerational shit that gets passed down and doesn't get changed. So this is like a part of sort of addressing that, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's for me,
especially with like your men's meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think for me is I don't want this picture of me that I had, a few years ago or 10 years ago. This picture of this is who he is. He'll always be this way, and he'll never change. When deep down I wasn't really that person. I've always been this way, and I will fucking change. So it's like, actions speak louder than words, don't they? Yeah. And again, I'm not perfect. I've still got a long way to go in what I'm doing, but. If my kids can look at this when they're a little bit older and go, bloody hell, he's done a lot for us, X, Y, and Z, then maybe they can take something like this on more. Yeah. Maybe they can advance whatever this is going to turn out to be.
Do you think, like, you're just touching on there, like, it sounds like you're kind of reflecting on things and always trying to grow and improve yourself. Do you think that comes from, like, issues with substance abuse where you've had to like take big stock of your life and make changes and stuff, and you just continue in that trend? I think it is for me.
I think for me the drug abuse and alcohol abuse and overall abuse of life. Do you know what I mean? Just being
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that for me is an outcome of everything that I hated with myself or everything that I've done wrong in life. Do you know what I mean? I don't think this is based on, the abuse I've put myself through over the years. I think this has come out of, I've had enough of that. Do you know what I mean? I've had enough of that. Every time I'm struggling or down or depressed, I used to go to drugs or alcohol. You know what I mean? Every time I felt fucking suicidal, it'd be, right, I'll just go and buy a load of drink and drugs. This is sort of, I still get, maybe now and then, I might still get those emotions creep in and think,
yeah, of course, yeah.
I fucking feel depressed today. Well, I do, because my missus said to me, there's been times 2 weeks ago, and I've said it on the previous podcast, where I don't want to go out the bedroom, don't want to leave. And I think for a while, maybe that was why I was putting this off, because I didn't feel ready for it.
Well, why you'd had breaks from doing this, you mean?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and I think, but this, again, my missus said last night, when I'm doing this now, I'm a lot more present in life. So in my day, my structure of my day is a lot better. Do you know what I mean? I feel a lot more positive in me.
Why do you think? Is it because this is like an outlet for?
and this is where I was getting to. So in the past, drug abuse, alcohol abuse has been an outlet of pain, anger, depression, suicide,
frustration.
Yeah, whereas it doesn't always have to be negative. You know, your outlet doesn't have to be negative to deal with those issues. You know what I mean? And I think this is the whole reason why I started this, is one, to sort of help myself be a better person, two, to help other people, but three, it also helps me deal with my shit from years ago. So it's helping me progress, but it's also helping me history. Do you know what I mean? It's helping both ways. Yeah. And that's what I find. Like, I know for a fact that, and you probably do the same thing, when we walk out of here later, you think, fucking hell, I feel a lot better now. Yeah. That's what everybody else has said when they walked out of here.
This, one of the things that I've been learning about in uni, they said, you need to do this development plan in a thing called a theoretical framework, and I didn't have a fucking clue what that was. So I was like, wait, what is it? And it's like ways that look to explain different aspects of the world. So like they'll look at a load of experiments done on human behaviour and then boil it down to like these are the things that motivate us or whatever. It's really interesting. And one of the theories, this called, I don't even know what it's called, self-determination theory, SDT. One of the things it talks about is that for human beings to feel like fulfilled in life, they need three things. So one of them is autonomy, the feeling of like you're in control of your own destiny and like free will. The second one is competence, the feeling of being able to do the thing in front of you, whether that's learn a skill or the job at work or whatever it is, the feeling that you can achieve it. Like no one wants to feel like they can't do the thing in front of them. And the other one is relatedness, which is like connection to other people, being able to communicate ideas, connections with your partner. Just, we're social animals, do you know what I mean? And I think this for you covers a lot of those things. You're your own boss, you pick your own guests, you do your own edits, so that's you get massive feelings of autonomy. Like you're learning new things, interview skills, editing skills, time management skills or whatever. I think it's giving you like all those essential needs.
I definitely think that third one, the relatableness, I think again, for a long time I felt, and I've said this to Dan when he was on here, I felt like I became a different person to satisfy the needs of society, if you'd like. You know, doing things that I would never really want to do, as in act in a certain way. Living.
Do you mean, are you talking about society as a whole, or like more like our society?
Our society.
Your peer groups and all that.
Peer pressure, the wolf pack mentality and all that stuff. I'd done a lot of that over the years, whereas now I feel like, I don't know, it's only over the last 2 years where I've felt like I've become my own person.
I feel exactly the same, man. Since like 3-4 years ago, coming off the gear, getting medicated for the fucking bipolar, like I just feel like I'm becoming like getting a second chance, becoming the person that I fucking should have been if I hadn't been a raging lunatic from my 20s. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like massively.
But one thing I have learned is, mate, we don't have to beat ourselves up no more. One thing I don't do anymore is I don't beat myself up for the shit that I've done in the past. It is what it is. Life ain't perfect.
Yeah, but is that a cop out though?
No, I think I've just come to terms with it and accepted what I've done. And I think, you know, how long do I beat myself up for? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years?
But I think that's only, you've still got to make either amends to the people you've hurt or so you don't do that thing again. Do you know what I mean?
But and this is partly part of that reason. I've understood, and again, me and my missus had loads of chats about it, you know, some of the stuff that I've done in the past. And she said, you know, how do I know you're not going to go back to being that person? Well, I hurt myself, I hurt a lot of people around me, so why would I? Again, it's about being relatable. It's about understanding that. I definitely don't think it's a cop-out. It's like, I know what I've done wrong. I know the things that I've done wrong in life, so why do I need to... Put it this way, you fail a maths test when you're a kid. You don't see your ass with it 10 years later.
No.
You learn on that. You learn on, shit, I did this wrong.
Yeah,
but anything in life, you know, we're learning till the day that we die.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, well, you see me when I live with my dad, you know, I fucking beat myself up day in, day out. So I think you don't deserve to do that to yourself no more.
And I suppose, like, if you're always dwelling in, like, your darkest moments, you struggle to grow, don't you?
Yeah. And I think I seen something the other day that even talking about a lot of your issues, I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, there was a lady on there, a doctor of some sort, and she said, even constantly having the same conversation about the same issue in your life, you never overcome it. Right. So whereas I think a couple of the podcasts that I first started with, I was always talking about, and again, it's to be relatable, talking about certain scenarios in my life.
Right.
But then I'd walk out of here and 2 days later, like, fuck it now. I feel like shit. So what I'm trying to do now is I'll try and take a different direction with it and still sort of be relatable to the conversation with the stuff that I've done. But don't necessarily have to go into great detail with everything that I've done. I don't have to explain, you know, the ins and outs of my arsehole to everybody. Do you know what I mean? You know,
to put it poetically.
Yeah. But that's the way I think. That's the way the growth is going to keep coming for me. I think if I keep on talking about the shit that I've done in the past, everybody knows what I've done, and I don't care. I don't need to prove myself to anybody. Do you know, I've proved to me. I've proved to me that.
I can see that just in day-to-day how you fucking are, man. I saw you when you were living in your dad's.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, crying in bed all day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not good, man.
No, it's not. But I think, you know, that with this, what I'm doing, me and my missus, the life that I've got, my kids, I went through a stage of not seeing my lad for a little bit, which I've said in the past, because he's 16 now. You know, he went to prom last week when we went and bought his suit. He went out and got, you know, bladdered with his mates after it, even though he's only 16, but we all do it. And he sent me a dead nice message the day after. It was only simple. I love your dad, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it was emotional, man.
Yeah, nice.
And that's all I needed to hear, to know that you're doing the right things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Something as simple as that. To me, that's like you're doing the right things. You're not still constantly proving people right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm proving everybody wrong.
And that's a fucking big driver, like all the shit that I've been doing lately, you know, just all the mad stuff. But like, I'm still sort of driven by like the urge to prove fucking laws wrong, you know, my stepdad. I'm driven, I'm fucking 34 or whatever, and like I'm still driven by like the urge to prove people wrong. So that's powerful as fuck. Technical hitches, Jesus Christ. This is why you need them, like, you know, like the stands, so you're not always holding them. So stay out, mate.
Yeah.
The audio engineer.
Right, I think we'll run out of time for that anyway, so we'll go and have a quick brew and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the documentary.
Yeah, cool,
that we
sounds
were both
good.
involved in.
Yeah, man, sounds good.
So, obviously, the documentary that we did before Christmas, it came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It got quite good feedback, didn't it? You know, on Instagram. I've seen a lot of comments on Instagram and stuff. Yeah,
they're putting a lot of work into that whole campaign. Do you want to say a little bit about it?
Yeah, you can go with it. You can start it off.
Yeah, so like during my adventures in TV land, working with the BBC and just meeting all these new people, this project sort of come onto my lap, and it was to help research a film, part of a nationwide campaign by the Welsh Government that aims to reduce violence towards women. So they were reaching out to they were just trying to get a picture of what a modern fucking Welsh man is, do you know what I mean? So, and I think they were focused on sort of a training angle as well, so they wanted to give people sort of a look into how films are made and stuff like that. So it landed on our lap, and me and Luke Davis, he's like my creative partner in film and stuff, we just started researching this film, reached out to gyms, reached out to boxing clubs, the prison service, just all sorts of stuff, basically. And obviously, I knew that you were doing good things with the podcast, Men's Mental Health. You were obviously an avid gym goer, as I said in the doc.
A green hoodie.
And yeah, I just knew that. Obviously, I'd seen some of the podcasts you were doing, and I knew that you were having like important conversations and that. And I just thought the whole point of the film that we're trying to make was like to encourage conversation, so I thought it fitted in nicely. And obviously you were like really, really honest about some of your behaviours and stuff like that, and as were everybody in the film, you know. And I think like obviously it's a tricky subject, all this kind of stuff, but I think it's important. And yeah, it was cool. What did you think about your involvement?
I think when you first come to me with it, and we'd done that little
test footage and stuff
in the gym, and I thought it was a pretty tough conversation to have, because I didn't really think that I'd had that much of a difficult conversation with myself before that. And then when obviously they said it was towards like violence towards women, I was like, well, you know, I've been a bit of a knob in my time, but I've never really been a violent man. But then when it was explained to me a lot more, it was like, well, no, we want your input as to sort of the lifestyle of the average man. Do you know what I mean? Or the average lad, as you call it, like Sound Lad. Yeah. You know.
Oh, yeah, for those who wonder what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, the documentary's called Sound Lad.
Yeah, and the platform is called Sound Cymru.
Yeah. And I think for me it was like, when it was explained to me in a bit more depth of like, you know, we just want young men to listen to sort of a little bit of an older generation as to, you know, if you live a certain lifestyle or if you live a certain way, you know, there's nothing ever going to be positive come out of that for you, for your partner, for your children. Like I said on there, you know, my children got to see a lot of stuff that they shouldn't have, the same as all around Britain, all around the world. You know, there's a lot of children that grow up, you know, with a lot of traumatic experiences, and in the end, you grow up and become an adult, and if you haven't overcome those traumas, you know, you grow.
Yeah, you embody them, don't you?
They grow with you. So every decision that you make subconsciously, it's, you know, it's not really 100% you making that decision. You're making it.
Yeah, you're a product of your experiences.
Yeah, you know, you're making a decision with a lot of emotion involved. You know, every time I used to do stupid things or go out for days, or, you know, there was always a lot of emotion involved. There was always a certain trigger point that would, you know, make me act a certain way or make me think a certain way. And, you know, I've spoke to you about this before, whereas, you know, I always said, I didn't want to grow up having a similar relationship with my children, or in a relationship with a girlfriend or whatever, the same way my mum and dad did.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I never wanted that relationship for myself. And in turn, it sort of started to creep into my life. You know, certain times where you'd think, fucking hell. I remember that happening when I was a kid.
Well, and then history's repeated itself.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's sort of, when I went onto the documentary with you, that I was sort of explaining that. And, you know, this again, this is why all this has come about. That I want to change that narrative, do you know what I mean? I don't want history to repeat itself again. I don't want to,
when this just popped into my head, like, obviously you're talking about being a knobhead and stuff, and obviously when you're in a relationship, the person that you're a knobhead to is your partner, and there's been times where I've thrown things and fucking smashed things and fucking, you know, you just, tempers are really high and stuff. I was shocked when we watched the final cut of the doc back that I'm probably fudging numbers, but it was like each year like 4 million women report like violent incidents. I was shocked that it was that high. Like, were you?
4 million. Yeah, probably. I'd probably be shocked because, again, I'm not a violent man. Never have been. But, you know, I've done a lot of stupid things that you look back on and think, you know, things happen in the spur of a moment. Life gets on top of you. Life stresses get on top of you. Your finances get on top of you. Your emotions get on top of you. You know, if you're not acting the right way in a relationship, that shit gets on top of you. And in the end, if you don't deal with it the right way, you just fucking pop, don't you? And that in turn then leads to, fuck this, I'm going out. And then you might not come out, you know, it's all rows and shit like that. But again, over the last couple of years, mate, that's a lot. I've done a lot of sitting back and thinking about stuff like that and think, you know, it's not cool to be that way, because a lot of lads will go out and say, I've had a row with the missus again and I'm fucking staying out. And where does it get you? Nowhere. You know, you still got to deal with them issues when they come, you know, after a day or 2 days or whatever, you've still got to go home and deal with them issues. Yeah. And that's a big thing that my missus has taught me now is, you know, if we've got a problem, let's sit and talk about it. Talk about it now, rather than... You said
a great thing in the doc. You said we haven't got the tools to communicate.
I don't think we have, and this a sort of catchphrase of mine now that, again, I haven't made it, but just, you've got to find comfort in conversation with yourself and with anybody else, because if you don't feel comfortable talking about things, you're not going to talk about them. And then that in turn...
It blows up or whatever.
Yeah, I've always said, you think of a bottle of pop, you shake a bottle of pop and then open the lid. What happens? It explodes everywhere. So rather than that happen, you know, find the tools, whatever that may be, whether it's, you know, again, last year or the year before when I was going through my issues on a Friday night, I'd go to the gym at midnight if I needed to. And now, you know, me and my missus, any sort of small issue comes up with me and my missus, we sit down and talk about it.
Yeah, same. And, like, I found that just from I think one, growing up and getting off drugs and getting medicated for mental health problems, I think all that's really helped. But I think just for the process of making that film and a few other things I'm doing, like just being able to sort of have a conversation, a level conversation, and come to some sort of fucking way to agreement or whatever. Like that was something that I'd always get really defensive. You know, like if someone called me out on something or questioned what I'd done or whatever, I would get really fucking defensive and go on the attack. And like now I feel like like my relationship is just so much more content because we're fucking communicating. Do you know what I mean?
And I think again that conversation piece, it doesn't have to be deep. You know, it doesn't have to be this deep, long-winded, spiritual, you know, conversation. It can be something as simple as, right, you know, how you feeling? Oh, you know, I feel this way. I think you could do a bit better on that, and you know, you're not doing as much as you used to do, or this and that.
Whatever it is.
Whatever that may be, do you know what I mean? And it's something as simple as like, yeah, okay, I understand. You know, I'll try and do better. And then in a week's time, have that same conversation again. Well, you know, how do you think? Yeah, you know, we're doing better here, or we're working on this, or you're doing better at this. Simple stuff. Life, I don't think life is as difficult as we make out.
Well, I was just going to say, how fucked up is it that something as simple as having a conversation with someone who you value or whatever is so like a mystery to us for so long? It's fucked up.
And nobody does it, and that's probably where the 4 million phone calls to the police for violence comes from, because you'll go at them, they go at you, you wind them up, they wind you up, and then you just both blow up. And obviously a man's a lot more physical than the majority of women, aren't they? So it's probably a lot of the time it'd be the woman who takes the heavy end of the argument. But yeah, it's simple, man. I've learned to realise over the last 2 years that life's simple if you simplify everything yourself. You know, if you try and overcomplicate life, you'll overcomplicate your own life. So like now, mate, my life now, mate, is fucking just so easy. Dead eat, like no worries, no stress.
Yeah, it's weird how it gets easy when you start shoveling cocaine into your face every day.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's not just that, mate. It's looking at my lifestyle in general, even you know, food, how you do with food, how you do with alcohol. Obviously, drugs were involved for a bit, well, for quite a bit. But now I just do everything simple. You know, there's nothing in my life that I stress about. Yeah. You know, I've told you I'm getting made redundant in my job. So be it. You know, I've been through far worse shit in life to be worried about being made redundant in a job. Don't get me wrong, it's a good job. I like it. You know, the time off's decent, but it is what it is, man. There's people in this world who haven't got a penny. Yeah. There's people living on the streets. I should count my blessings that, you know, I've been given a second chance to do life. You know what I mean? There was a time 3 years ago, 3 years ago, where it was sort of like, let's put your car in first gear and drive off the edge of the River Dee. So be it. Life is what life is. And for me at the moment, life's good, and that's why I feel like I've got the ability now to go on a documentary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and be fucking open about things.
Yeah, and like, you know, I'm just a normal lad from Flint, and the feedback that I've got from that documentary, like you said when you went down there, the first video they put out was me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Out of all the people,
the big man.
Yeah, out of all the people that spoke on that documentary, I was the first. When I see my video, I was like, fucking hell,
freak out.
Yeah, I was weird, man, because like people that I don't know writing on it like this is empowering. These words are empowering. I'm like,
yeah, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was like, bloody hell, because I'm just me. Do you know what I mean? I'm just a normal lad from Flint.
But that was the whole point of the project. It was to just get normal fucking lads. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But and again,
it was cool just that you'd had a bit. One, you'd done things in the past that you fucking wouldn't agree with now, but also that you were reflecting on that. That was why I knew you'd be a fucking asset to it, and why I put you forward for it. Why do you think?
A question for you is now for you. Obviously, there's still a lot of people who live a monotonous lifestyle. Work, weekend, drink, drugs. Work, weekend, drink, drugs. And through this podcast and through the meetings that I've started as well, I get a lot of lads coming into the inbox explaining their issues to me, and then I'll sort of not tell them what to do, because who am I to tell anybody what to do?
Just advise, yeah.
Just give a little bit of advice. Maybe you should think about doing this or do that. And then they won't listen to it. Or maybe they do listen to it, but they just won't act on it. And then they'll carry on that cycle, as I've done myself. I've done it for 15 years. How do you think we break that? That cycle needs to be brought. And again,
well, how did you do it?
Mine was probably because I wanted to.
Did you do it in one fell swoop, or was it a series of incremental things?
Small. I'm still working on it now.
Same.
You know, I think it's going to... I keep saying to me, Mrs., I think in 12 months' time I won't drink at all. Because I don't really go to the pub no more. I have a drink in the house with my missus.
I've got a mate who's just knocked the drink on the head, like, same age as me.
Yeah, and we'll have a game of chess in the house, we'll play cards in the house, you know, something simple like that, and I enjoy it. But then, like my missus said, there might be a time where I go out for a beer and then for 2 or 3 days I'm depressed as fuck. So it's sort of what outweighs what? Do the pros outweigh the cons? But then on the other hand, I think, don't beat yourself up too much. You're still allowed to enjoy a bit of life. Do you know what I mean?
As long as it's not destroying your life.
Well, and I don't, you know, I'm going on me and my missus now is over 2 years. And from where I was when I first met her to where I am now, I think I'm not a different person, because I hate that word, but I'm a lot better.
So, so I think you've sort of answered it, like, what can we do, sort of thing. It's incremental positive change, isn't it? That's like, that, for me, that was what it was, getting medicated, coming off gear, fucking, getting my career in order, just like, it's small changes, isn't it, you know?
Yeah, and I think if you do try and change everything all at once, you just implode.
And we've only got so much fucking cognitive bandwidth, haven't we?
Well, I think people want the answer there and then, don't they? I think a lot of people who are struggling at the moment want the answer there and then. What do I do? What do I do to make myself feel better? But it's not a case of what do I do. It's a case of how do I do? Do you know what I mean? Because there isn't a what. A what is sort of, it's individualised. It's one thing, isn't it? Whereas how is multiple things. And
it's also, how is also a bit more fucking goal focused.
Yeah. And I think that's what you've got to do. I think you've got to set yourself little goals. And all these mindset coaches, and some of them are really good, if like the top level ones, but if you look on Instagram now, everybody's inspirational. Every single person on there is either a gym PT.
But isn't this a bit of that? Like, we're talking mental health, trying to inspire. Isn't this like all of this stuff is kind of a bit of that?
Yeah, maybe. For me.
No, you're not coming out saying that you've got the answers, you know, which is different.
Yeah,
I imagine.
and that's what I think. I don't think I've got the answers for you. I don't think I've got the answers for anybody else. I think you're the only person who finds the answers for you. You know, you can pay somebody £100 a month to look after certain things. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it. You know, you could lie to anybody. You can lie to yourself for a very long time, which a lot of us have done. I think, you know, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, how'd you put it? I don't really know. How to say it. It's a difficult. What I was getting at was like with the inboxes, with the messages and stuff like that. How does each individual move on? Do you know what I mean? And I think
the first step is like reflecting on the things that are causing you fucking pain or harm, or to be held back or whatever. I think it's to definitely fucking work out the things that are triggering negativeness.
Where do you feel like, you know, when you were at the lowest point, where was your turning point?
Mine was when I nearly got evicted because I hadn't paid my rent for 5 months or whatever, because I was just snorting gear all the time. That was like without a roof over my head, I don't know what I'd do. Do you know what I mean? And that was like, and that was fucking maybe 4 years ago. And I haven't fucking missed a payment since. You know what I mean? That was like a shock to the system.
Yeah. And I think that's what everybody needs. We need that shock. Mine was when I was in my dad's house and I just like overdosed on a load of different drugs and collapsed on the floor. I've said it on
That'll do it.
Well, I've said it on here before. There was blood coming out my eyes, my nose, my mouth, and I thought, this is it. And you know, let's get
it's fucking terrifying though, isn't it?
And then I woke up and then again, I repeated myself, but my missus walked past me in town one day and then liked a couple of pictures on Facebook. And then a week later, we went out for dinner.
And the rest is history.
And it's weird because, like, that was the first time where I wasn't looking for anything. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't looking to even improve myself. But it just happened, like, subconsciously. But yeah,
right person, right time.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think the shock factor of...
Well, like, what you've just basically described is a fucking near-death experience, and if that doesn't fucking motivate you to get your ass in gear, nothing will it?
It's definitely a near-death experience. I thought I was going to die, mate.
Yeah. Mate, I've been there with fucking cocaine, man. Yeah. Like, I've been there with it back in my darkest fucking points, you know, where you think, the heart fucking, you see the heart in the chest pounding, out, left arm, like, fucking, I thought and this is the end, but I did that 100 times before I realised to stop, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, it's a mad one. Crazy life. Crazy life. It's mad how a lot of people, we all, like, I met a guy last night, me and my missus went down, where is it, the other side of Towing. Can't remember, the other side of Towing on a beach. And this guy was walking around with his dog, and me and my missus was sat there waiting for the sunset to come down.
Very romantic.
Very romantic. And his dog like started playing with my dog, and he's a lad from Liverpool. And he's like, "Hi mate, okay?" We just started talking, and basically had like a 15-minute conversation on mental health and women and relationships and drug abuse and
fixing it all, sorting it all out.
And I started laughing. I said, "It's funny how like every single random lad that I meet my age." Has all got the same conversation to be had, do you know what I mean? We went to York a couple of months ago, and there was a guy like selling bands in the town, you know, the little rubber bands to go around your wrist, for like a men's mental health charity. So I got talking, my missus said, "You fucking talk to anybody." I said, "All right, mate, what are these for?" Like, he said, "Oh, my head went to come."
Do you want to come and do a podcast?
That's what I said to him in the end. Because same conversation. He's like, "Yeah, and I got kicked out of my house, lost my relationship, turned to drug abuse, living on the streets. And now, I've realised me, he was similar age to me again. I've realised my issues, and now I'm trying to help people." I'm like, isn't it mad how pretty much every lad that I've spoke to just under the age of 40 has all acted a certain way. But, the guy on the beach talking about how he'd had a DMT trip and it had brought him out of spiritual, and he's dead spiritual and loving life and dead happy, and it's like, it's mad, mate. It's mad how...
I found a weird commonality when I first decided to come off the coke, like, and obviously I would talk to like my friends and sort of acquaintances about it and stuff, and I found that, like, I was shocked that when I said, "Oh, I would do mad shit, I would be sat up for 16 hours with 100 Pornhub tabs open, just being like a maniac," which sounds like
trying to get to the promised land.
Yeah, and that sounds like a really hyper unique thing to me. And when I would talk about like cocaine addiction and all that to my mates, they'd be like, "Fucking, I do that all the time." And it's like everyone's going through the same shit. Everyone wants to get off it.
The first meeting I went to with a man-to-man group, I walked in there thinking, bloody hell, I don't really want to start like, what if these people don't understand? You know what I mean? And I went in there and I was like, yeah, I've been struggling and nearly lost my job and struggling with drug addiction at the moment in time. And the same as that, like, there was lads like, yeah, that's just a normal Friday night for us. And you're like, fuck it, everybody. Yeah. So again, with the man-to-man, they were talking about like porn abstinence. Okay. They try basically what the group does is they try and keep themselves present with pretty much everything.
Right, okay.
Keeping on top of the gym, the work lifestyle, being present in your relationship and understanding that you've got to give X amount of time to your relationship. Yeah. Porn, stuff like that, talking about that. It's like, mate, you think it's you. Yeah. You see them, mate, I bet
that's like empowering to know that you're not fucking unique in all this stuff, when you go to a meeting like that.
Do you know what the empowering part of it is, mate, is when you think that you're the worst in the world and nobody understands what you're going through. And then you'll sit there and listen to other lads talk. And you think, well, I can help him. I've been there and done it. Is different to mine, obviously. His journey's different to mine, but I feel like I've got the history or the knowledge now to go, do you know what, mate, I can help you, try and do this, or how do you feel, what's causing this, blah, blah, blah. That was the powerful thing for me, because I thought I'd go in there and I'd be sort of like in the minority, you haven't really got much to input. And then when you walk out of there, you think, fucking hell, I just helped two lads there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you realise, again, finding comfort in that conversation is powerful, powerful stuff. Yeah. But yeah.
I wouldn't mind going to that Is it Andy's Man Club in Deeside College every Monday?
Is it in Deeside College?
I think it's in Deeside College. Like, obviously, my life's massively improved in the last 4 years, but like, still got issues. Like, still fucking, if I'm in a shit situation or I'm feeling depressed, or whatever, like cocaine comes into my mind, and I'm always fighting that. You know, like, so there's still things that I think I could benefit by talking about someone. I could get a lot out of it. You know, but it's just finding the time, man.
I've reached out to the Andy's Man Club trying to get him on here.
Oh, great! Yeah, that's cool.
There's a lad from Wrexham, Dan Rowe, I think his name is. We just again finding the time to get him on here, but he said he's willing to do it. But yeah, I'd come with you to that one in Deeside.
Well, let's do it.
I didn't realise
free.
Yeah, I didn't realise where it was or when it was on, but it'd be good to go there and sit with them and have a chat and see if any of them are willing to come on.
There's
here.
a couple of people in like my friends circle and that would be up for going as well. Like, so I'd be well up for that. We'll have to fucking
definitely.
do it.
So we've got a couple of minutes left, mate. If you want to just briefly, what does the future hold for Dr. Carl?
Well, obviously the music's going so well with the camps in Spain and stuff like that. The next record that I've co-wrote and produced is getting fucking mixed by Beyonce, Lady Gaga's producer. So like,
cool.
That's fucking. He's a big Grammy winner, which is the biggest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to continue to work on that project. Then I've got this doc coming out with the BBC about my life in music in North Wales. That's out on the 29th of July on BBC Two Wales. So hopefully that fucking leads to some cool places. Yeah. And then obviously just get this masters and just see where that leads, and just keep following my curiosity, man. Just keep following my fucking creativity.
Your artistic flow.
Yeah.
That's it, mate. One last question.
Yeah, man.
If you could sit around a dinner table with 4 people from history, who would it be?
That's a really good question.
I've asked everybody that question towards the end.
I would go George Orwell.
Don't know who that is.
He's an author. He's cool. You should read a few of his stuff. He's all right.
Yeah.
Interesting guy. Mr. Bean. Keep it light.
Yeah. Doesn't say a fucking word though.
I don't really know, mate. To be honest, I'm surrounded by so many cool people at the moment. Like, these
people that aren't alive, by the way. The people who you want round the dinner table.
They've all got to be dead?
Yeah.
Let's go with a king from the turn of the century, every century back. Let's just have 4 mad kings. Fuck it, I don't know. I don't know.
British or foreign?
Whatever you fancy, mate. You're hosting it.
That's it, mate.
Sound, man.
Cool.
Great. Nice one, Lee.
Well done.